Hi, boys and girls. Back again to read to you with my trusty friend Hazel back here sleeping. We are going to be reading a nonfiction story this week. So we're kind of working more on nonfiction and retelling or telling about the things that you learned when we read the nonfiction story. So nonfiction stories we talked a lot about before going home and being at home. And we talked about how a lot of times you can tell it's a nonfiction story just because it has a lot of real pictures usually. So actual pictures that people have taken of real things. And you can usually tell it doesn't normally have any characters in it. It's a book that's more for learning about certain things. I know in the classroom we read a lot of different ocean animal books and some other books, but they all had those real pictures in them. A lot of times they had a table of contents at the beginning, and then a lot of times they would have like a glossary at the end of the story where you could learn some more about some of those bold words. So today's story, again, is a nonfiction story, so it's all about real things, and I chose to read this Tractor Power book. It's a nonfiction story. You can see there's real pictures of tractors on the front. And I thought it would be a good book to read right now just because we're seeing a lot of tractors out and about in the fields. They're starting to get the fields ready for planting, and some are already planting. So in this book, we are going to learn about tractors. Some of you may already know a lot about tractors, but some of you may not know much about tractors at all. So it's okay if you do know things already. You might still learn a few more things, okay? So this book is called Tractor Power. These are John Deere tractors. For those of you who are not familiar with John Deere, those are the green ones. All right. Okay, here we go. So big and powerful. Tractors are powerful. They do all kinds of jobs on the farm. Okay, it says, look and see what gives this tractor its power. Its big engine. A tractor's engine is underneath the hood. So here's a picture of the engine right there. Okay, and you can see these tractors are doing all kinds of different jobs. That one's hauling a bale of hay. Okay, a lot of times they're hauling wagons, or this one's got some dirt here that they're hauling. Tilling the field. So here's our title, or our heading here, tilling fields. It says this tractor tills the fields. So tilling just means they've got some sharp blades there and they're going to break up that soil. So it's kind of turning it over. It says look and see. These steel discs are very sharp. They cut into the soil and they make grooves called furrows. There's those sharp discs. Tilling breaks up the hard soil and gets it ready for planting. Okay, you can see a little closer there. Planting seeds. Okay, so this tractor plants seeds with a planter. It plants big seeds such as corn and beans, and that's what's usually planted around here, is corn and beans. This planter plants small seeds. Over here, this one's doing small seeds such as wheat and oats. Those are also some things that are planted around here. Look and see. Some planters can fold up. This makes it easier for the tractor to turn the corner or to move from row to row. And there's the planter. They're pretty cool. Lots of seeds are in all these compartments here. Pulling weeds. Okay. This tractor pulls weeds out of the ground with a cultivator. So they're pulling the weeds. It says, look and see. The sharp teeth on a cultivator reach deep down to yank out weeds by their roots. That way the weeds won't grow back. Weeds use the food and water that plants need to grow. So we don't want weeds. They're going to take all the food and water from the plants. All right, the heading on this one is picking crops. Okay, this tractor harvests sugar beets. The harvester pulls up the beets and tosses them into a big bin. Now, sugar beets is not something we harvest around here. That's a picture of a sugar beet. Some beets are used to make sugar. Look and see. It says beets are delicious vegetables. All beets grow underground. Okay, so there's the beet right there. So what we're eating, if we're eating a beet, we're eating the root, kind of like a carrot. All right, the heading over here says working together. This tractor works with another machine called a combine. Okay, so we won't see combines for a while. That's what we see in the fall. That's our combine right there. It's working with this tractor and this wagon to get all of the crop harvested. On this one, they are harvesting some wheat. All right, so the combine separates the grain from the wheat plants. The grains of wheat are poured into a wagon behind the tractor. Look and see, wheat is used to make all kinds of bread. There's all the bread. Okay, our heading on this page is cutting grass. Yeah, that might be what we see happening a lot right now. The grass is really starting to grow. This tractor cuts tall grass so it can be turned into hay. After the grass is cut, it's left in the field to dry. Okay, and look and see, cows, horses, sheep, and goats will all eat the hay. So hay is really just that grass that they've cut and they've dried it, and it kind of turns that brownish color, and that's what they're eating. Okay, now we're on to baling hay. So that's our heading on this page. This tractor pulls a baler that rolls hay into big bundles. There's those circle bales. You can also have some square bales. We'll read about that over here on this page. It says each bundle of hay is called a bale. A bale can either be round or it can be square. Look and see, round bales of hay are much bigger and heavier than square bales. Some weigh as much as a cow. That's very heavy. They do weigh a lot. You can't pick those up. You're going to need a tractor to move those round bales. You can pick up a square bale though. Those ones are not as heavy. All right, so lifting bales. Here we go. Now you can see where the tractor is lifting up that circle or that round bale. This tractor lifts the bale of hay using a pointy blade spike. There it is. So that's what's on the end of that tractor, and it pokes right in there. A second tractor drives the bales to a barn or to another field, and they're stacking them up. All right, look and see. Sometimes bales of hay are covered in plastic to protect them from the weather. And those are what's right on here. That plastic protects them from the rain. Okay, now our heading says hauling cargo. This tractor pulls a heavy load. How many bales of hay do you think this tractor over here is pulling? All right, look and see. Some tractors have crawler tracks. That's what these are called up here. Crawler tracks that go around the wheels. Some tractors have those crawler tracks. The tracks move around the wheels to make the tractor go forward and backward. Okay. Okay, and then the last page, it says having fun is the heading. Oh, and there we have some kids being pulled behind that tractor with those little carts. This tractor gives visitors a ride around the farm. Tractors are powerful and they're fun too. This reminds me of Tanner's Orchard. I think there are some little wagons like that that are out at Tanner's. My kids have ridden in. Okay, so that is our story for today. That's our nonfiction story. Remember, nonfiction stories are stories about real things. They've got some facts in them that are typically showing real pictures. And so today, what we're going to work on is retelling our 3 things at least that we learned from reading this story. So in nonfiction stories, typically I tell you that we want to talk about anything at all that we learned, at least 3 things. So hopefully you can remember 3 things that we learned about in this story, okay? So I want you to do that right now, just at home with anybody that's there. You can tell them about the tractors and the things that you learned, okay? Okay, so that is it for today. I hope you had fun listening to that book. Maybe you have a few nonfiction stories at your house that you could read and try and tell about the things that you learned with those stories as well, okay? All right, well, we'll see you later.